I have been here a year. And when I first came here, and it's still true, at GHM, we're really building the plane, the very enormous, unique, innovative, passionate plane as we fly it. And we're going to the moon with it. And I think that if just staying in that metaphor, the people here really are like engineers at the top of their game. That's kind of the present state. That is what intrigued me in the first place. And I was talking to Amy about the fact that COTE opened, and we worked at COTE for a decade before we really opened up COCODOC. So you had one concept with these extremely passionate people, extremely intelligent people in the same mind space. And you could see and almost organically feel what the culture was. That's powerful because you can just kind of look around and say, oh, I know who I'm supposed to be. I know what I'm supposed to do. That was the present state. I think now, vision-wise, we're going into our next chapter. We have new concepts and new people and new places. The big question then becomes, how do we take that institutional knowledge of those type of people in that type of space where we had 10 years almost to really study the brand and figure out who we are, and now take that same culture and infuse it into all of these new places, into all of these new concepts, into all these new people. For me, what that means is really something that I call culture carriers. And me and Amy have talked about this. It's essentially trying to codify that culture and write it down and then infuse it in everything that we do. And so you give it to people. You use missions and values and North Stars, and you use it in your talent acquisition, you use it in your engagement, you use it in your learning and development. You take what those values are that you've seen and you infuse it in other people, and then they can carry it and grow it. We had a program, People and Culture. This is Danielle on my team, and that's Diane on my team, Diana. We started a series where it's called the OGs, because we get to have people who have been here since the inception of GHM sit down in a room, usually over food, and just ask them, how did you feel when you started this? What did you want to happen? And we just write notes, and then we take those notes and we put it in every single thing that we do. You know, so it's a way to really grow who we are from the ground up internally as opposed to externally.
Because I've been with Simon since 2018 now. COVID happened in 2020. We were building the restaurant at the same time. So in 2021, when we had to build Miami, we got really lucky because we were only operating at 25% capacity here. We basically airlifted the entire team and dropped them in Miami. And we had this rare opportunity to open a second unit using oral history, even though we knew we had to sit down at some point and write a manual. Last year, we had an opportunity to finally open up COTE Singapore, as well as develop our first secondary concept, COCODOC. And at that point, we're like, all right, guys, I really gotta sit down and write this down. So we have an incredible master som on our team, Mia Vandewater. She teaches on behalf of CMS, and so she's an incredible instructor. She did the hard work. She sat down, and before Oneca even got here, she was doing the work that Oneca was describing. She was talking to all the people, getting all of that knowledge, distilling it, putting it down on paper. We work in an industry with a lot of creatives who are super disorganized. Thank God we had this woman to sit down and actually codify everything. We built this beautiful manual, and what we are now learning in 2025 as we approach the next 4 openings is that we thought we did all the work, but actually we just started it. You build this manual, it looks really great. It's my job to build systems of support for our people. And I think there's a tendency sometimes, for me especially, to try to solve issues with systems. And then what we started to realize was like, oh shit, like we actually need values at this point. Like it's been 7-8 years that we've been operating without any set of company values, because once again, it's been oral history. Mm-hmm. And so we're actually bringing in people now that maybe were not the people that we should have brought on. Maybe they didn't understand what it actually lives and feels like to breathe GHM. And so we're surrounding these really great people that aren't necessarily the best fit for our team, and we're giving them systems, except they're still failing. To add on to what Oneca has been talking about, thank God we have her now, because she's gonna help us through the power of observation and high intelligence. She's gonna help us figure out how to get those values and mission statements put out so that we can actually use that for the next round of recruiting that we have to do, so that we can get in the right people, give them the right systems, give them the right tools.